this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We're looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, the day's support, resistance and pivot levels and the Fibonacci's. It is Monday the 15th of March. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against US dollar, it's bullish start to the day. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid a fallback through the pivot at 59,900 to take a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 67.99. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break out from this morning's high that's at 62.38. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at yesterday's new swing high 61.699 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended crypto rally, could see Bitcoin test resistance at 63,000 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 62.599. A fallback through the pivot will bring the first major support levels at 58,100 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of 58,000 levels. Second major support level sits at 57,201. Looking at the MACD, we have a narrowing of the bearish histograms this morning. We could see a bullish cross, so keep an eye on that through the morning. On the EMAs, the 50 is holding its ground against the 100 and 200, but nothing conclusive as yet. So keep through the early part of the day, avoid a fallback through the pivot at 59,900 and break through the morning high 62.38 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, it's a positive start to the day. Going to need to Ethereum avoid a fallback through the pivot at 1873 to continue run at the first major resistance level at 1908. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 1900 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 1931.97 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, could see Ethereum test resistance at 2000 before any pullback. Second major resistance level is at 1968. A fallback through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1813 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of sub 1800s. Second major support level sits at 1777. Looking at the MACD, we've got a bullish cross this morning, supporting this morning's upside. On the EMA, the 50 is holding its ground against the 200 and the 100. Nothing conclusive there for the day ahead. So keep through the early part of the day, avoid fallback through the pivot at 1873 to then take a run at that first major resistance level at 1908. Failure to do that and support levels will come into play. Moving across to Litecoin against US dollar, also positive this morning. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 219 to take a run at the first major resistance level, staying at 223. We'll need support from the broader market for Litecoin to break back through to 220s. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 227.94 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, could see Litecoin test resistance at 240 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 233. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 209 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should stay clear of sub 200. Second major support level at 205 should limit the downside. On the MACD, we've got a bullish cross this morning, supporting this morning's upside. On the EMA, nothing conclusive as yet, with the 50 holding its ground against the 100 and the 200. So keep through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 219 and back through to 220s to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, support levels will come into play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, also bullish this morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 0.4467 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 0.4544. We'll need support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.45 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 0.46 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, we've got the 38.2% fib at 0.4632 and the second major resistance level at 0.4689 that would likely come into play. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 0.4323 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should stay clear of sub 0.43. Second major support level sits at 0.4246. Looking at the MACD, a marked narrowing of the bearish histograms, we could see a possible bullish cross, which supports the current upside through the morning. On the EMA, the 50 has pulled further back from the 100 and the 200, however, so I need to keep an eye on that. So keep through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 0.4467 and back through to 0.45 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failures to do that, support levels will be in play.